Hey everybody, Penguin here. We are keeping an eye on Hurricane Irma. It has now become the most powerful storm, I don't know if it's all together or just in the Atlantic, in history. It has sustained winds over 185 miles an hour, and the pressure keeps dropping. This is going to be a bad hurricane. People in Puerto Rico and the Bahamas need to beware, because there will be a Category 5 coming through that area. By the time it hits land in Florida, it's probably going to be down to a Cat 3, because as it goes over land, it's going to dissipate somewhat. Now, this is not a very big hurricane, but it is powerful. I mean, imagine 185 mile an hour winds. Something to think about. Where I live in Georgia, we are in the impact zone. So what that means is we're not going to have the damage caused from the eyewall hitting, but we're going to be in the impact as far as tornadoes, high winds, and a lot of rain. I'm looking what the meteorologists around my area are saying, and this is what they're saying. Meteorologist named McNeil said extended models forecast a storm moving over the north and heavy rains and winds in South Georgia as early as Sunday night. The Atlanta metro, which I don't live in, but I live outside of that a ways, but we still kind of associate with that. The Atlanta metro could feel the system's effects late Monday and Tuesday of next week. If this storm moves our way, it will encounter an area of high pressure. The two will come together and form a gradient that will produce some very gusty winds for us. He also cautioned if winds of that caliber, it would increase the risk of downed trees and power lines, because we've had a wet summer, so the soil is loose, and any type of wind of that caliber moving slowly will knock over trees and will lead to power outages. I'm not really in a flood zone where we are, because we're kind of on a hill, and there's a hill about 100 yards away going the other direction, so I think we'll be okay as far as that goes. My concern is going to be trees. We've already had one large tree come down, and I don't want any others to come down because we don't know what direction they'll fall. Now, I think the ones in my backyard have less of a chance of coming down, simply because they're grouped together a lot, so that they're kind of dense. The ones in the front yard are spaced out pretty well, so I would be concerned about that. The good thing is, as this is coming from the south, the winds will be coming from due east, and the trees that are leaning a little bit are leaning toward the west. So it would take actually a good bit of wind to blow them over, but they're already leaning in the direction that the wind is coming. In other words, it's blowing from the east towards the west, so the trees are already leaning in that direction. When I say leaning, I'm not talking about the last tree that was like 45-degree angle. I'm talking about there's just a slight lean in that direction. So we're going to have to hunker down and see what happens. I don't see us going anywhere unless they give a mandatory evacuation, which I don't think they would do that this far inland. But you never know. But we're gonna tough it out. We're going to the grocery store tomorrow or Thursday to stock up on water, things like that. I got to look into getting some type of a way to cook with no electricity, just in case that happens, just to heat up things. I do have a fireplace, so I could possibly put something in there to use that, just be a little warm for that. But I don't know. This is going to be one of those things we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Unfortunately, there is one scenario in the models I've been looking at where it looks to hit like Panama City head on. That would be devastating for that part of the country. Just devastating. It would be devastating anywhere, but they really aren't prepared. I've lived there. They're really not prepared for a hurricane to hit there. Most of the models shows it doing is hitting the tip of Florida, going up across Orlando, west of Jacksonville, coming up over Atlanta, going through maybe the tip of South Carolina, eastern Tennessee, and so on. We'll know in a few days really what this is going to do, but I don't want to wait till the last minute to have everybody else at the grocery store scrambling for a bottle of water. We're going to do what we got to do. And I will post our status during this. Make sure all the phones are charged, and I'll turn them off until I need it, just to conserve some energy in case the power does go out. But I'll keep everybody posted as to how we are. I know there's a thing on Facebook where you can check in and say you're safe or things like that. We really don't have anywhere to go. We could go further west to friends or family in Alabama, but central Alabama is kind of in the zone too. And the Birmingham area is going to be the only other place, and they're going to be on the edge of it. I'm not really sure if we would do that or not. We'll know in a couple of days what our plans are, and I'll let everybody know here and on Facebook, because it may be a historical period in our lives. Up until recently, on a different subject of course, my son never really showed an interest in wanting to drive, so we just never went to get permits or license or anything like that. So we looked into that today. We went to the DMV. If he gets his permit now, because of his age, he would have to wait 1 year and 1 day before he could take his license test. If he's over the age of 18, he could take the permit test and schedule his road test the same day. So that's what we're going to do. He turns 18 in October, so we'll wait till after that, and then he'll be able to do both at one time, or get his permit and wait a few weeks, get some more driving and things like that. It's just weird how you have to wait a year and 1 day to do that. When I was 16, I had my permit for, I want to say it was 2 or 3 months. Yeah, I got it in October, and I went in December during Christmas break to take my driving test. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to look more at this hurricane, make a list of the supplies that we're going to need to hunker down in the basement. And that's about all I have to say about that. So for now, this is Penguin Speaks. Be somebody important. Be yourself. Peace out.